this is week 6. We are completely done with the literacy narrative unit, and now we're switching gears and working into the rhetorical analysis unit. The rhetorical analysis will be the second essay that you're required to write for this course. So this week we're going to discuss rhetoric, rhetorical appeals, and rhetorical choices in more detail. We will learn how writers and creators consider the aspects of the rhetorical situation, things like audience, purpose, and context, to make rhetorical choices that will help narrow the audience's angle of vision and persuade through appeals to logos, ethos, and pathos. You'll be learning more about these things. These are terms that I'm just kind of throwing out at you in this overview video, but I do have a couple of lectures that actually focus and explain those things so you understand what's going on. We will also explore how an author's style and voice work to create different rhetorical effects. So, this week we're going to focus on understanding what rhetoric is, understand the rhetorical situation, identify some of the components of rhetoric, identify the different rhetorical appeals, the three main ones, learn about basics of rhetorical analysis, reflect upon rhetoric in everyday communication, and analyze rhetorical effectiveness of a given text. So, when I say text, I don't just mean words on a page. A text can really be anything that we either see or hear. So, text is a very general term, and it's not specific on specifically, or it's not specifically the written word. Okay, so keep that in mind. Um, so let's go over the readings for this week. We have, of course, we're continuing with some grammar. This week we are looking at conjunctions and lists as well as comma overuse. So make sure that you do the reading for that in preparation for grammar quiz number 5 on conjunctions and commas. I have a couple of pages from the University of Mississippi Rhet Lab. One is what is analysis, the other one is rhetorical analysis. These two things will help you to understand a little bit more what we're trying to do in the rhetorical analysis assignment. There is an optional module if you just can't grasp the information on rhetorical appeals. We have that also from the University of Mississippi Rhet Lab. Make sure that you click next to navigate through the whole module. The rhetorical analysis assignment is similar to an assignment that John Warner in our quote unquote textbook has on pages 86 to 90 called Who Are We? So it might be helpful that you read those pages in the PDF as well. And of course, we have the rhetorical analysis assignment handout. I'm going to open this right now so we can talk a little bit about it. There's nothing that you really have to do seriously this week, nothing that's due writing wise other than a discussion board post. But this explains the assignment, gives you some of the details. This will be a little bit longer, 3 to 4 pages instead of 2 to 3 pages. So we're trying to get up to that. I'm nudging you toward that 1,000 words goal. And this is where you will examine not only the quote unquote text of an advertisement, but also what Warner calls the subtext. What is really being sold besides the product? So I've provided an outline below that will help you with the paper. You can read through this. I'm not going to look through it all, but just to let you know, this is in preparation for the rough draft that will be due in a couple of weeks. So let's take a look at the important dates. First and foremost, you need to select an advertisement. That advertisement can be either a commercial or a print ad. Excuse me. And that will be due on October 1st. Then you see the next due date we have is the rhetorical analysis rough draft. I am requiring you to write a full rough draft to get as close to those page page requirements or word requirements, and that will be due on Sunday the 15th, with the final rhetorical analysis revision due on Sunday the 22nd. This gives us about 5 weeks to focus on advertisements and rhetorical analysis. So you can start to see now that each of our major essays we're taking about 5 weeks to focus on each of those topics. So make sure that you download this to your computers, read through it in greater detail so you get to understand some of the things that we'll be working on in the next few weeks. Go back to the module here. And then there are a few things that I want you to watch besides this over video. The first thing is a video, it's about 5 minutes long, called What is Rhetorical Analysis? And this is just to get you excited about the upcoming assignment and to fill you in a little bit more on what we're trying to do with rhetorical analysis. Then there is a lecture that's roughly 9 minutes long on rhetoric. So this will be the lecture that tells you about the rhetorical situation. It will tell you about the rhetorical appeals of ethos, pathos, and logos. Those things may be familiar to you already. So I highly recommend that you watch that video, invest your time in that video so that you understand what we are doing in this writing unit for the next 5 weeks. There is also a website here that has several example videos that are embedded. I'm going to open up so that you can see what I'm talking about. There are 12 examples of ethos, pathos, and logos in commercial advertisements. A list of them here. You can also read a little bit more about the 3 appeals that we mainly use. And then there are several videos. You don't have to watch them all, but at least watch 3 videos, one that's an example of each of the rhetorical appeals. So maybe you'll watch the first 3, right? It's really up to you which ones you want to watch. And if you want to watch them all, they're short, right? Less than probably 2 to 3 minutes. You can watch them all. So, yeah, as I said, there are 3 of them. And to keep in mind that some won't just focus on one rhetorical appeal primarily, but may use a combination of techniques like we see here in the Gatorade commercial, using pathos and ethos, Old Spice using pathos and logos, and George Foreman Grill using all 3. So, and then there is an infographic at the bottom of the page, as well as some final thoughts. So make sure that you take a look at that page and watch at least 3 of the videos that they have embedded there. I have included 2 videos that Warner discusses a little bit in the writer's practice in that reading. I do want to provide you with a content warning. These commercials are mentioned by Warner. However, they contain images and messages that are surrounding beer culture or alcohol culture, as well as references to swearing and cursing. And that might be deemed insensitive to some people if you are easily offended by things, or it's just something that goes against your worldview. Feel free to skip them. They're not necessary for you to watch, but I do provide them for context. They are not required viewing. So that's the Corona Lights stand commercial and the Bud Light swear jar commercial. And then lastly, finally, we get to the assignments. Only 2 things due this week. We have a grammar quiz of conjunctions and commas. Be sure to do the reading to prepare for the quiz. And then we have the discussion board. I will open this up. The week 6 discussion board is your advertisement selection. So for this discussion, I want you to post about the ad that you are considering analyzing for essay number 2, the rhetorical analysis. This is where you can brainstorm and collaborate. You might find that another student has chosen the same ad or one that's similar to your ideas, which could provide a great opportunity to share some ideas and some thoughts about that advertisement. Make sure that you include the following. This is very important. The name of the commercial or the product being advertised. Try to be as specific as possible. If you have chosen a commercial or you are doing a print ad, please copy the link to the commercial or include an image if you have chosen a print ad. If you can't figure out how to save the image to your computer, you can always just send the hyperlink as long as there's a link so I can go and others can go and look and watch the commercial or see the ad. Then I want you to write a few words explaining why you've chosen the ad. Is it funny, interesting? Do the advertisers use someone you like as a spokesperson? Is it a product that you really like, or is there some other reason? And lastly, what do you think is the primary rhetorical strategy used in the ad? So, just like we had those 12 examples of pathos, logos, and ethos, I want you to figure out, if you can, what you think the primary rhetorical strategy used in your chosen ad. So the initial post is due October 1st, and then I want you to comment on 2 peers' posts in a meaningful way. That follow-up, of course, is due October 4th on the following Wednesday. So that is the first order of business, the first assignment related to the rhetorical analysis paper that we'll be doing over the course of 5 weeks. And each of the assignments that we have each week will in some way contribute to the rhetorical analysis paper. So if you have any questions about that, please do not hesitate to ask. Any question is welcome. I don't mind it, right? I don't think that you're being dumb or stupid or thick or whatever. It's always good if you're unsure about something to send an email for clarification. Sometimes I just don't explain things as clearly as I think I am. Right. And some people might have difficulty understanding some of the directions that I have. So it's really important to make sure that you are, first of all, aware of the things that you need to be doing. And secondly, that you are clear on what the requirements are for each of the assignments. I will be grading the literacy narrative over the course of a few days. Hope to get those grades in by the end of the week. I do have a lot going on in life, so, and I have 2 other courses that I also have to grade. So I will try to get those as soon as possible. If you are still behind, please send me a note. Let me know that you're working on things and we'll get the assignment in as soon as possible. It's really good to get these things out of the way from the first unit so that you can start with fresh ideas for this second writing unit. Okay. Have a fantastic week, everybody. Take care.